the FNL Network talk show.
Hey everyone, welcome to the FNL Network talk show. I am so happy that you are all with us here today, and I'm so happy to introduce you to my co-hosts, my dearest Rocco and Marianne. Welcome everyone.
Hello, hello, hello.
How are you guys doing? Marianne, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm good, thank you, thank you. I love the flower in your hair.
Thank you.
It's summer. Love it, love it. Yeah. Rocco, how are you doing over there?
Great, very much. I'm doing very well. I see that you both are very much so matching. Did you have a conversation before you got on the show today? Because you're both sporting pink.
No,
I'm the only one in black.
Combinated, yes. Yes. It's the trend. It's the trend, Marianne. So pink is the trend this summer.
I didn't get the memo. Otherwise, I would be in pink as well.
Okay, next show,
time.
Rocco's going to be in pink. Clear, deal, done. Okay, for today we have some amazing topics for you. We're going to start with the first one, a very important topic. We come across people battling with depression and going through depression. It has been in the media like forever. And today I wanted to discuss with you guys how to be aware of your surroundings, how to check up on your surroundings when it comes to depression. You also see it with celebrities. We all witness them going through the hardest time, being bullied to the ground, and we all witness but don't do much. What could we do towards each other, taking care of each other, but also in case of a celebrity, what could we, as the people, the audience watching, what could we do to provide a more safe surrounding for everyone? Marianne, what's your thought on that?
So unfortunately, I am familiar with depression. I have struggled with it myself. So I think it's a very important topic to bring awareness to. You know, yes. You've got the chemical imbalance, and then you've got situational depression, which is what I've struggled with throughout my life based on different situations. So I think with our friends, it's important to check up on them, friends and family. Sometimes we may have a friend or family member that seems happy all the time, and they smile and they just seem like they're in love with life, but you really never know what goes on behind closed doors. You never know what that person may be struggling with, what personal trials that person may have had to overcome. So I think it's important to check on people for sure. Periodically check on your loved ones, check on that friend that goes quiet, you know. And I understand it's hard because we all have a life, but I do think it's important to make that time to check on the people that we care about. And two, I think people in general, sometimes they make fun of others that struggle in the area of mental health. If they struggle with depression, people make fun of them. I don't think that's right. I think that can push some people over the edge, including celebrities. You look at celebrities being bullied for their weight. That's a big one.
That's a big one.
You look at them being bullied for their beliefs. I mean, and I've struggled with, you know, in my past eating disorders, and I know that's probably very prevalent in the celebrity world. I feel like bringing awareness to different body types, different individuals, and allowing people to be who they are, not pushing everybody into a box, embracing people's differences. In the celebrity world, I think we need to do a better job collectively embracing people for who they are, not trying to make everybody the same. And I feel like in some cases that's getting a little bit better, but we still have a long way to go. We do. You see celebrities committing suicide, and people would never have thought, people that are hilarious, you know, people that are funny. And all of a sudden,
Robin Williams.
Yeah, I loved him. And then you hear about Naomi Judd passing away. And she was beautiful. She was so beautiful and had everything going for her. But the appearance, someone's appearance can be deceiving. They may look happy on the outside, but check on their inside. Make sure that they're okay. If it's somebody that you know, check on them periodically. And as far as the celebrity world, I think we have a long way to go for embracing people's differences and individuality and not making fun of that.
Yeah, that's so true. And you also gave a good point about not knowing. Sometimes you see someone putting out this perfect picture. Social media is also not working in our advantage in that part. And you see this perfect picture and you don't know. And that's specifically the part that I want to go by. And the question to you, Rocco, what would you do to find out if someone is having a hard time, if someone is battling not only depression, but to check up if someone is doing good and is healthy and those types of things? Because also what's very important, often people don't want to be checked on. So you have to pass around that and still make sure that you can create a safe environment for them to express themselves. How would you do that, Rocco?
Well, first, I would like to say that everything that she just said, I agree with 100%.
Yeah.
I would like to add one little thing, though. A lot of people, fans that are loving on that celebrity or hating on that celebrity or criticizing that celebrity or their friends or themselves, we are all human beings. We are people and we have feelings and emotions. All of us, every human being has emotions and has feelings, and even animals, even dogs can feel depressed and feel happy and separation anxiety, you know. So everyone has that ability to be emotionally in distress and be depressed and deal with depression, which I personally have as well. I believe everybody has. If someone says, I've never been sad or depressed, they're a liar. It's just not possible. Okay.
That's not true. Not possible.
And yes, there's chemical imbalance. I mean, there's all different assortments of ways that people can become depressed, stay depressed, and also get out of depression. You know, I personally have been in deep spiral depressions a few times in my life because of horrible things that have happened to me. And the way that I was able to, let's say, get pulled out of it was because of people around me that loved me, that checked on me, that were insistent on, let's talk, let's go out together, let me, you know, buy you a taco, or let's go eat pizza, or whatever. You know, it's the circle of friends or family or people you choose to be your family and friends, right? That love you at your darkest time, that are persistent. Because when you're depressed, you don't want to do anything. You just want to stay home. You don't want to eat. You want to die. You don't want to do anything. And someone tries to contact you and you're like, no, I'm okay. No, I don't want to go. Now, if your friend is acting like that and you really care about them, you need to be really pushy, because you don't know what they're going to do when them by themselves. Maybe they're going to try to hurt themselves. You know, you need to be with your loved one and be pushy and try to encourage them to eat something or drink something like soup. Because I'll tell you, talking from personal experience, I didn't want to eat anything. I didn't want to drink anything. I just wanted to die. And, you know, I had loved ones that physically forced me to try to eat, and I still didn't want to eat. And what happened was I wasn't even thinking straight. Like, I was so, I guess, hungry that you start not thinking normal and your mind goes to horrible places. But then as soon as you eat again, you can think more clearly, even though you're still depressed. So it is essential to get nutrients in your body.
Yes.
Even though you are horribly depressed, you're laying in bed, you don't want to wake up, you just want to die, you've got to drink soup or try to force yourself to eat something. It is so important to even begin that step of thinking clearly. Then talking with your friends, talking about it. And if you're in a situation where you don't have friends and you can't talk, or you don't want to talk, write it down. write it on paper,
Write
or
it
do a
down.
voice memo. Get it. You have to get your feelings out of your body, from your mind, your
Yeah.
soul. You need to get it out of your system. Whether you write it down or you do a voice memo, you take a piece of paper and a pen or your computer and write that letter. Write everything you're feeling, put it on paper, then burn it or wrinkle it up and throw it away. I promise you that will make you feel better. 1,000,000,000%. Write it all out, get it out of your system, talk it out, destroy it, get it out, get it out. If we hold in, I believe it's the worst thing, because like
Yeah.
Robin Williams, for example, no one knew about his depression. He held it in for so long, but he made so many people happy and laugh. And then he killed himself because he couldn't handle it anymore. If he would have talked to somebody, maybe there would have been a different outcome.
Yes, that's so true. And maybe it's a personal question because I'm so touched by you being so real about the situation. Also, you, Marianne, dealing with these types of stuff is not easy, but also expressing yourself towards these feelings is not easy as well. Do you guys remember a specific thing that a friend or a family member did that gave you hope, that gave you that safety to speak up?
Marianne, you can go first.
Okay. I would say there was a friend of mine that I think she intuitively knew something was wrong, and she just reached out to me. She reached out to me, and there was a night that I wanted to die. I'm not going to lie to you. This was 2015, Christmas. I had just been severely hurt by somebody. They told me I was an accident, and there was a lot more to it, but this person hurt me to the point that I was ready to go. And she called me. It was Christmas night. I was at home. I was by myself. I was laying in the floor crying. And I was like, this has to end. She called me and we talked, and she talked me out of it. And the fact that she cared enough to call me at my lowest point and just talk to me, I feel like it could have saved my life that night, because you never know what can happen if you don't reach out and help somebody that may need it. And I think she just instinctively knew that I was a little off. I wasn't myself. And she knew the things that had happened a couple months leading up to that, but she checked on me and she knew something was way wrong. And I think that was what began to pull me a little bit out, just knowing that I wasn't alone, that somebody actually cared. That one person, that one phone call, that one text can make or break somebody. Absolutely it can. Just like that one comment somebody made to me almost broke me. The one person that decided to call and check on me at my darkest moment turned things around.
Yes, I can totally understand what you are saying. I'm getting a little bit quiet because it's such a serious topic to discuss, but also so real, so central in everybody's life, because like Rocco explained, everyone goes through these types of struggles. The lows, for some, the lows are lower than possible, and for others, it can be easier to get out, if I can say it like that. But these are the things that will make a difference, reaching out, making sure that the other one is okay. But what Rocco also said, speak it out, write it out, or a voice memo. The first step is to take it out of your body, out of your mind, and then because the second part is you're going to process it, you're going to look at it, you're going to have a certain reaction to it, and then that's a first step. And I also believe in making, in my family, depression is a very big topic. I have people in my family who have killed themselves by depression.
Sorry to hear that.
Yes, and thank you so much. And in a situation also that it went over years. I'm talking about 15 to 20 years of depression and trying your best as a family to get that person out of that. And then on the end to see that I don't want to say it wasn't effective, because maybe if we didn't reach out that much, it would be earlier in that person's life. But it was the brother of my mother. And yes, I remember that being such an important topic, to be making sure that that person was seen, heard, but also felt. Sometimes I didn't know what to tell him, and I would only hug him or giving a kiss on his forehead for him to know that I'm aware of his presence, because he wouldn't talk, he wouldn't interact, he wouldn't do nothing at all. So the points that you guys gave are actually very important. I came across this topic of depression because I had this conversation with one of my very, very good friends, Yolanda is her name. And we were talking about this because we were watching the Met Gala. Every year we watch the Met Gala, we discuss everything about the looks and everything. But we all both noticed that some celebrities are just not happy. And I discussed this with her on Monday. We hang up, and a few days later, she called me back and she was like, it's not sitting right. We discussed it, but we didn't do nothing about it. And we have been through different examples: Amy Winehouse, Robin, Miss America of 2019, who just such a dramatic story. And she was like, we witness it, we see it happening in front of our eyes, but it's somehow we don't do enough to make sure that the person is all right. And that got me to thinking, and I was quiet. I was like, I don't have an answer for you right now. This is something that I have to think, and thank God we have this platform to discuss these things, because I was like, I need to discuss it with my co-host, with my peers about this, because multiple minds can create more solutions. So therefore, but it was an interesting question for her to ask me that, and that inspired me to bring this on here today. So to make it all clear with depression, checking up, speaking up, being honest to yourself, if I may say so, but also sometimes for the person who is witnessing another one going through that situation, the person is not always gonna like you. The person is not always gonna welcome you when you're reaching out. And that's something that you have to push through. Focus on the love, focus on the result that you want to have out of it, and take it in, and please don't take things personal, because they can scream to you. I have been slapped in the face once, even trying to reach out to someone, but understanding that at that moment, at that specific moment, the person is not responsible for her or his reactions, because it's so much going on.
I would love to share a personal story. It was a very long time ago, in my early 20s, and I was walking with my brother and my sister on the street, and I was very depressed because I had gone through this separation, and I had been depressed for quite some time. And this was wild. I never experienced this actually before. And my brothers, I don't know, they said something to me, and I actually was screaming, like, I'm not depressed anymore. I'm not sad anymore. I'm not hurting or something like that for, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 minutes.
Wow.
And then I continued the evening. We went someplace, whatever. And then the next day when I woke up, I felt better. I felt almost normal. It was insane. It was like this built up inside pain. I had to let it out. And my brother and my sister did something to push those buttons, and I let it all out. And then I felt so much better the next day. I almost conquered it. It was very fascinating, but it was just a way to express those emotions, I think.
Yes, I can totally understand because you had released it all out. It went all out. And that's literally, but also mentally, it needs to get out because
Right.
there's so much, it's like a storm in your head. And the noise gets bigger and louder that you don't hear your inner voice anymore. So that's something that you need to get out of there. And you also said earlier, and thank you for sharing that story, by the way. You also said earlier, asking someone to do something, to go grab a drink, distraction. Distraction sometimes is good. And in that distraction, getting your way through to check up on the person, but not making that checking on the
Right.
person so central because that can be very confronting.
I wouldn't recommend drinking alcohol. I would recommend drinking juice because alcohol will make you more depressed. It's a depressant. So if you're depressed and you drink alcohol, it makes it much worse. Drink juice, drink tea, drink coffee, something like that. Not alcohol. Alcohol does the opposite.
Yes, actually, there is, you can also ask it to your doctor, or there are those specific depression places that you can go because there's a whole list of foods that you can eat that are good for you and which foods that are not good for you. For example, sweets are not good for you during a depression. You
Oh, I
may
didn't
think
know
so.
that.
Yes, there's a whole list of specifically which foods are good to eat and
Interesting.
which not. So that's very important to take that in because the food is also a very important part in that, but also being as close as possible to nature is also very important, very, very helpful. Making sure that hugging a tree, guys, it may sound silly, but hugging a tree can give you so much positive energy because you are in contact with nature and don't underestimate that.
I've never hugged a tree, but I need to.
Yeah,
I did.
same.
I once did. I once did. And I was like, the first second that I was doing it, I was like, this is odd. And then
Wow,
when you let it all go, let the shame go and just do your thing, you feel yourself getting zen
that's so
and getting
interesting.
energy and everything because you are very close to nature and
Because
nature,
trees, they're alive.
yes,
Yeah.
they are so, but
Okay.
there's a whole list of things that you can do towards depression besides medication. That's something else that I want to say. There's more solutions than only medication. Make sure to check everything and to check up on it and to check on your persons besides you. And with this that we all discussed, I'm gonna go give all this information to my friend who actually was the inspiration for this topic today.
She can
And
watch the
later on, I'm
episode.
gonna get back to you guys about what we conclude with everything that we did. We're gonna go to the second question, self-love. I believe that if you don't love yourself, it's not possible to love somebody else. And also want to know, how do you guys practice self-love and how do you guys develop in that? I'm going to start with you, Marianne.
Okay.
Mhm.
Gosh, there's a lot of ways I can answer this question.
I like that.
And as far as self-love, I think it's so vast. There's so many ways. One of my favorites, you were talking about nature. I love to be out in nature as well.
Yep.
Taking breaks, like if you get overwhelmed and you're working all the time or you have so much to do, I think part of self-love is saying, hey, you deserve a little break. Go outside, be in nature. For me, spend time with my animals. I think another thing is to eat right and to exercise. That's something that I try to do daily. I keep a track of what I eat. I keep a track of my workouts because I feel like if I don't take care of me, nobody else will do it. So that's my job. I've been given this body, I've been given this life. It's my job to take care of myself, not, nobody else is going to do that for me. I think mentally, it's also very important to practice self-love. I think this involves positive affirmations, focusing on our positive traits, when we're tempted to think about the negative things about ourselves. I also think it involves being very careful who you listen to and who you allow in your space. One of the things
And
I've
who
been
you talk
practicing,
to.
yes,
Listen and who you talk to, yes.
yes, and that's one of the things I've been like putting into practice lately is there are certain people that you may consider a friend, but that person doesn't consider you a friend. And it may be subconscious. They may want to hurt you. They may want to be passive aggressive and take digs at you. When you're successful, they're not happy for you. They want to kick you down to their level. So one of the things I've been putting into practice is kind of blocking that negative energy out, unfollowing people on social media that I know are passive aggressive or may want to post hurtful things. Being careful about who I let in my close circle of friends. I've had to do some weeding out. I hate to say it. I hate to think about it. But sometimes you have to weed people out because if you focus on their negative energy, it's going to drag you down with them. And what I have found is when you make room for positive people in your life, positive things come to you. But if you focus on the negative energy that the negative people bring, it's going to hold you back. And I am living proof of that. So I think that is a big part of self-love, is being careful who you allow in your space.
Yeah, I'm getting my skin. Yes, yes, spot on, spot on. Yes, preach. Yes, thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you, sir. I couldn't agree more. What about you, Rocco?
Okay, well, I agree with everything she just said. I would like to add in, because so she talked about the emotional aspect, but I think there's also a huge physical aspect. I think self-love, it's very important to shower, to groom, to wash your hair, to clean your clothes, have clean clothes. Masturbation is very important. That's part of self-love. I think eating the right food is important.
So real. I love it.
I am 100% real. If anyone tells me they didn't masturbate, I'm going to tell you you're a liar. You can't trust them. You know, self-love, it's loving yourself, not depending on someone else to do something for you. You know, cleaning your nails, pushing back your cuticles, making sure that you have not just a clean presence to be for someone else, it's for yourself. You feel better when you're clean and you don't smell, because we smell ourselves if we don't shower for a couple of days. You know, we know what we smell like, and we smell better when we get out of the shower. You know, and maybe when you're depressed, you don't want to clean yourself. You don't want to masturbate. You don't have the mood to do these things that are self-loving, but you do it, you feel better. Yep. Cleaning yourself, taking a shower, eating the right foods. You eat crap, you're going to feel like crap. You eat bad food, you're going to feel bad. You eat good food, you're going to feel better. So taking care of yourself, putting the right things in your mouth, you'll have a much better self-loving feeling.
Yes, and that's so true. Actually, for me, there's a specific moment that is so very important for me. Actually, two moments. When I get up, I make sure that my bed is made every time I leave the house, because if you have a bad day and you get home and you didn't get anything done, nothing, you know those days, right? Nothing goes like you planned, everything goes wrong, bad energy, all those things, and you get home and you see that bed made, then you will say, one thing this day I accomplished, I made that bed, and I made it perfectly for myself or for me and my partner to be able to get that good rest when we get back into bed. Actually, for me, that's so important, but also after taking a shower, taking the moment to pay attention to my whole body, to put lotion on my whole body, to make sure that my body is ready to get into that day. And for me, I may say the most important part of self-love is talking to myself. I talk to myself every day. Every day, I talk to myself and I discuss my day with myself. And it may not be loud, it may be in my head, but I talk to myself to a point that I encourage myself. I don't beat myself to the ground. I don't criticize everything that I do. There is a specific moment for that. And then I pause myself. I'll be like, okay, you can sit back in that corner. I had enough of you today. Let's get back to the self-love. What went good? What did we do good? How are we feeling good? What are your positive things in your body, your face, the way you speak, all those things. So talking to myself is a very important part of self-love, actually. And also, I have learned not to be afraid to be all by myself. I can be by myself and have the greatest fun, laugh, enjoy, spoil myself. And that's something that I hope everyone gives themselves the chance to allow yourself to be happy, allow yourself to be smiling, allow yourself to experience life, because life is so beautiful. It is so beautiful. But sometimes we don't see that, and sometimes we take it for granted. So for me, those are very important things. Was there a moment in your life that you were aware of self-love, or has it always been part of your life, and have you always been aware of self-love? Rocco.
No, I was not aware of self-love. I was not aware of how to deal with depression or anything. I've been to counseling several times in my life. I think it's a good thing to go talk to someone if you have an issue. I would say I didn't realize self-love until my early 20s, to be honest. Actually, maybe between the ages of 18 and 23, 24, it was a huge catalyst. 17 to 24, I learned about self-love. I learned about, battling depression. I learned a lot of different things because when I was 17, that's when I moved to Europe by myself. I moved to Milan. I got a modeling contract, and I was alone in the real world in a shark eats little fish world, in a fashion capital of the world. And I was the youngest person there, basically. And, I had to grow up really fast. And that's when I started understanding and reaching out for help and, really kind of developing as an adult. So I did not know anything really about self-love. And maybe that was just my upbringing. Maybe other people are taught or trained differently. I'm sure everyone has unique experiences being raised.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. Interesting. And for you, Marianne?
Yeah, I definitely have not always been aware of it. I would say the past 5-6 years is where I really started to focus on it. I would internalize what people said about me or how people treated me. And I would feel that I was worthless, just like they said. I was useless. I was a nobody. That's how I was treated. That's how some people had talked to me, and I internalized that. So like Rocco, I'm a big advocate for therapy. I have been in therapy myself. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's really made a difference. Specifically, EMDR therapy, which is a special, it's like eye movements that helps you process trauma. That helped me tremendously to kind of it rewires the neurons in your brain to help you kind of reevaluate and look at the past trauma that you experienced differently. So I would say the past 5 or 6 years, I've really started focusing on that and practicing a lot more of the self-love, telling myself that I am worth it and I do deserve a good life, and that these negative things that people said and these hurtful things that people did, they don't have anything to do with me. They have everything to do with them.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen. What other people think of you, what other people think of you is none of your business. What other
Yeah.
people think of you is none of your business. That's so true.
Right.
Yes, that is so
Something
true.
else I want to add in is when you are an attractive person, people purposefully want to push you down and make you feel bad. I'll tell you, almost every single model that I was friends with in all my modeling career, they always had a partner, male or female, same sex or opposite sex partner, that most 98% of the time made that beautiful individual have a low self-esteem by pushing them down. It was wild. And I thought to myself, wow, these people are so beautiful, but they think so low of themselves. And then I would meet their partner and I would say, oh my God, that's why. It was wild.
I have a lot to say about this. I have so much to say because I used to have, like, in my past, my partners were that way. It was like they were very jealous people and they would put me down, tell me I was fat, tell me I was ugly, tell me I was this or that. But when I met my husband, he is just completely different than any of these people. And he and his love of how he's treated me, that has brought out who I am and made me a lot more confident. I feel like the partners that we choose is extremely important because you are spot on. There are so many people that don't want you to shine. They don't belong in your life.
Right. I finally have a partner now, that supports me and all that too, that wants me to shine. So that's amazing. Anyways, okay, continue.
Wow. Wow. Am I the only one who don't have a partner? Okay.
We need to find someone for you. I thought you said you had one because you make your bed and you come
Yeah.
home. No, I make my bed for myself. Yes, and but I made it a topic so that everyone could relate. I said, if you have a partner, you make it together.
So I need to come to Amsterdam, and we'll go out and we'll try to find you someone, or not?
Yes, but I'm in Rotterdam.
Rotterdam. Okay.
Yes. No, but happy being single, guys. Happy being single. So don't worry about that. Yes, for me, the moment that I was aware of self-love was I misunderstood self-love back in the days when I was about 10 going to 17. I always protected myself. When I saw a situation that wasn't good for me, I protected myself, and I thought self-love was protecting. And then I understood that it wasn't that protecting is a part of self-love, but self-love is bigger than that. I remember me going from Rotterdam to Amsterdam to do auditions. I used to work as a professional dancer, and I would go to auditions. That was very competitive. I was from Rotterdam, and the community of dancing was based in Amsterdam, and it was you could say a female-dominated community. So there wasn't a lot of men. There wasn't a lot of examples for me to look up to and be like, okay, that's how I'm going to do it. So sometimes to go to those auditions, I had to mentally prepare myself and everything. And I remember fashion has always been that defense mechanism for me. I would put on my outfit and walk into that audition like I had it all together and stand there and do it. But that was a way for me to take care of myself, to protect myself from everyone else. And I am so happy that I didn't that I didn't have social media at that time, because that gave me the opportunity to bloom, to be free, to be out there without everyone having an opinion and everyone seeing what you were doing. Because I think that would be a disadvantage to me, developing my self-love, developing my best version of myself. Because nowadays when you do something, because believe me, if some of my auditions from back in the day come out, I would be very ashamed, because I was that person. I didn't have any borders. I would be free in an audition. I would give my whole soul, but sometimes that looks a little bit ugly. So I would be very ashamed nowadays if that would be on social media. With that being said, but that was for me a way to always develop my self-love and to take that all into consideration and going out there, growing up and being sweet to myself and others is something for me that's very important. I try to treat everyone the same way I treat myself because I believe that what you give to others also comes back to you. It may not mean that it comes back from you from that person that you're giving it through, but it may come back to you in 1,000 other ways. That's what I believe. So that's for me with self-love being said. We're gonna go to the last topic, positive life-changing moments. Have you guys ever experienced a positive life-changing moment? So yes, how has it affected you till this day? Or did you go to that moment, it happened in that moment, and it stayed in that moment? I'm gonna start with you, Marianne.
All right. I definitely do. So a lot of people may not know that my mother did not raise me. She was a teenager when I was born, and she didn't have the support that she needed. So I was raised by my adoptive parents who were incredible people. When I was 24, I found my mom, and that has been a life-changing experience. I mean, we are like this. We are so close now. It's been 12 years. We have our other home is down there right behind her house. We both ride horses. We both, there's so many similarities. It made me feel complete to find her because when I look at her, it's like looking in a mirror. She's got dark hair, but our faces are almost identical. And just our mannerisms, our, preferences, our silliness, it's all so similar. And I grew up not knowing anything about that, like my traits and what I came from, where I came from. And in addition, I have a very close relationship with my grandparents, my aunts, my cousins, my brother. We're all very close. And it's like I was never gone. Like we talk every day. I see them all the time because our other house is down there. And it's just been an incredible experience. And it's changed me. It has definitely made me a much happier person. And I'm so grateful that I had two moms, the one that raised me, who has been, she's passed away almost 13 years ago now. But her dying wish on her deathbed, she said, I want you to find your mother. She said, I want you to have somebody. And I did. I found her. Almost a year to the day after my adoptive mother died, I found my mom. And it's really neat because this year for Mother's Day, we celebrated last weekend. I made her a piece of jewelry. I made her a necklace. And the center piece of the necklace is actually a piece of jewelry that belonged to my adoptive mom. And I made it for my mom because she always tells me, she's like, I never met her, but I love her. And I feel a strong connection to her because she raised you when I couldn't. So that's probably the biggest life-changing experience. Having my grandparents, they're both still living. I'll go to their house and just open the door and walk in, just like anybody else in the family. We are just so close, and it has been amazing. So that's probably the top of my list.
Wow. That's a beautiful life-changing moment that you went through. To have two moms is something very special, but also to have them never met each other, but still be connected with each other. That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And you have two beautiful women as an example to guide you through your life, because your mother passed away, still in your heart and living through you. So beautiful, very beautiful to see that. Rocco, what about you?
Well, mine was a little bit traumatic and then shifted into a different experience. So I'll explain it. So I was raised and grew up in a non-rich home, in a neighborhood that wasn't a wealthy neighborhood or anything like that. So I hung out with some very, very bad kids, and I did some bad things as a kid. We're talking 10, 11, 12, 13. And my parents, I guess, saw the path I was going on,
Yeah.
and the outcome of where I would go if I continued the lifestyle with these other friends I had that did stupid kid stuff that was illegal. So I was brought to a juvenile detention center. It's basically jail for little kids.
Oh my.
Yeah, they call it juvie in the United States.
Wow.
And I saw basically how they lived, and I did like a little tour. And I think now, as an adult looking back, they kind of brought me through the kids' place and then brought me through the adult place. And the adults, what they said to me were crazy, disgusting, horrible things. And I
Oh.
was so young, it literally scared the hell out of me. Like I was so scared, I completely stopped hanging out with that group of kids, and I became my father's shadow. I only did things with my dad or my
Oh,
mom. So that was a huge life-changing experience, because all those people, that group, that little gang in my neighborhood, they are all dead or life in prison.
Ooh.
I'm the only
Wow.
one. Yeah, I'm the only one that changed my life. They all continued on the path. So
Wow.
that was a huge changing. And my aunt, she said to me, because she had two boys, she said, when I was a little bit older, because all my family knew that I was doing really bad stuff. And my aunt said, "What can I do for my sons not to follow in your path?" And I said, "Keep them very busy." So she put her boys in all these classes, all these various programs after school. And what I did was I joined the Taekwondo school. And every day after school, I went from school to Taekwondo. And that's where I was every day up until I went to Italy. So that was a huge life-changing thing in my life.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
is
so
that, if I may ask, is that life-changing moment something that you think of every day, or does it pop up occasionally in certain moments?
well, I'll tell you that when I came back to Florida, to the city that I grew up in, of course, it's very different now. It's very developed. It's much different than what it was when I was a lot younger. It pops up more often. When I'm, gallivanting around the world in production, I don't think about it that much because I'm focused on whatever it is we have to do for that project. But anytime I talk to somebody and they tell me about their upbringing or their childhood, or because a lot of people, even people that were raised with very privileged homes, dab in, criminal activity. It doesn't matter if you're poor or rich, you can still make stupid decisions as a kid and hang out with the wrong people. So it's popped up a lot of different times in my life, of course, but it's not something I think about every day.
Yeah.
No, not anymore.
Okay. Okay. For me, the reason I ask brought this topic up is because um, I believe that life-changing experiences, positive life-changing experience happens to everybody, but the the outcome of it can be, some things can be, for me example, um, it's small things. I could point different situations that were those aha moments for me, that I thought of, like, okay, this is something that I will take with me forever. And it's always those small things that happen that sometimes you're not aware of it in the moment. And then years later or months later, you come back and you think, oh, that was what it was. For example, I had this moment in 2018 that one of my childhood friends that I saw every year when I went back to my country, the Cape Verdean Islands, I had just won a competition, a very big competition with making costumes for the carnival. And we were celebrating. The whole neighborhood, you imagine 3,000 people celebrating on the street. This big moment, everyone is happy and celebrating. And I remember seeing him far away, and I'm with my whole mood and everything and energy coming up to him and being happy. And I fell on his lap, and I was like, and he was like, I'm so proud of you. And it was so loud outside and everything, but that moment that he said, I'm so proud of you. And I'm someone, I always have something to say. I have a big mouth, I have always something to say, but he silenced me completely. I became so quiet, and I felt that moment being so special. He said, I'm so proud of you. You always bring home the trophy, and you did it again. And the way he looked to me, I didn't understand it in that moment. And there were 5 of them, and they were all on scooters. And I, silly me that I am, I didn't say anything. I went on dancing on the street again. They all came behind me, 5 scooters. And it was such a beautiful moment. And a month later, he passed away. Passed away through a scooter accident. And that's when I understood what that moment meant. And I was like, because I remember a few days before that telling him he had another scooter accident. I was like, please don't ride the scooter so fast anymore. Don't do that. It's very dangerous. Don't do that. And he was like, yes, I know. But I knew that I was not coming across, and I was not getting the message delivered in the way that I wanted. So I was like, I did it a couple of times after that. And then that happening, and me going back to that moment, I was like, that was his way of saying goodbye, of saying goodbye, actually. And that was such a beautiful moment for me to take with me, and that I will treasure forever, and that will always will be in my heart, and which learned me or made me more aware to be in the moment and to say everything that I need to say to the persons that I love, to make sure that I tell them that I see them. For example, from that moment on, most of the times when I talk to my friends, I end up the conversation with, I love you. And sometimes they don't say it back, and I'm like, I'm waiting. And they start laughing, like, oh, I love you too. And we go on. So those small things have been moments in my life. And recently I had one that I thought to be very, I didn't understand what was happening. I had a friend, it's a similar story like Rocco. I used to go out with this group of friends, but we were all very different. Sometimes some of them were very not on a good path, doing different things. And the group fell apart. We had this fight, not a physical fight, but just a fight, and the group fell apart, and we were so close together, and it went from this to nothing. And I was the person who decided to get out of the group of friends, or to, not the group of friends, but the person that I had a fight with. I decided to get out, and I didn't want anything to do with him again. And actually 2 months ago, I was like, or no, a year ago, I was like, I wonder what happened to him. I wonder where he went. I never saw him again after the fight. A few times I saw him, and he would look very angry to me, and I would be like, block, ignore, don't look, don't give any attention. And 2 months ago, I was like, okay, I want to know how it's going. I had this dream about him, and I was very sad. I woke up very sad, and the dream being very happy, I woke up very sad, and I was like, I don't know what's happening. I have to check up on. So we have mutual friends. I asked him for her, could you get his contact or ask him if I could call him? And he responded because I felt like we had some unfinished business. We didn't finish the fight in a good way, not a mature way. We were just 16 going to 17, silly things, I don't even remember what it was about specifically. And I also remember not asking him what his opinion was, because I immediately put all the context out. And he reacted with, oh, tell Odair it's okay, not to worry. I cannot talk now because my father just passed away. So I'm not able to talk now. And I remember how important his father was for him. He was such an important person when he looked up to his father. It was his example. So through that dream, I felt his hurt and reached out to him in that specific moment. I could choose 10,000 moments to get in contact or to check up, because this is a situation that's almost 20 years ago. But I decided on that moment to reach out, and because of the dream that I had. So that was also a moment for me to have this aha moment, to listen to yourself, listen to the voice inside you, and take that with you towards the future. In everything that you do, listen to your voice. So those small things were for me, I see them as positive, life-changing experiences, even though some of them didn't have the outcome that I wanted. Some people passed away, some people I don't have contact with anymore, but it's all part of life. Not everything has an happy ending. And yes, we know that. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys for today, for sharing your experience, sharing your life with us out there. I hope everyone out there enjoyed it. And yes, I want to close it with asking you, what are you guys doing today? Do you have further plans? How is your day going to be? I'm going to start with Marianne.
Well, we're going to be planting some tomatoes and corn here on our farm. So we're going to be planting. We might go out to eat this evening. I may ride my horse, just kind of relax and enjoy it. The weather's really pretty today. So kind of low key, nothing major.
Oh, nice, nice. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your day. And you, Rocco?
I'll just be working, catching up on some work. That's about it. Working. How about yourself?
Working with me, the same. It's almost 6:30 p.m. here. So I'm gonna sit behind my sewing machine. I need to get some things done because finishing some designs. So I will be working till the late hours. So enjoy your day, everyone. Thank you for today. For everyone out there, the topics today were very personal. They were very inspiring to hear everything that my co-hosts had to say. But I would like to know what you guys think. You know what our Instagram is. You know how to reach us. So give us your comment. Maybe you have a life-changing experience moment that you want to share with us. Maybe you're going through a hard time dealing with depression or someone and you need some tips. Let us know. I would be very curious to hear from you guys. I want to wish everyone an amazing day to all my co-hosts, and I love you all. Big kisses. See you next time.